Hello and welcome to Dimsy's Domain, and this is my Digimon Adventure Tri Confessions episode 11 review. What a movie it's been so far. The last episode had a massive and a major and an amazing cliffhanger that no one was expecting, and it's very welcome. If you want to check it out, click on our previous episode review. So let's get to it. We see that the Digimon are all conversing as they've escaped, or they've kind of run away, or they've got out of Izzy's little office and they've met up in under the bridge. As I've mentioned before, as well as Shady of Lightning, he said how the bridge, underneath the bridge, is like the meeting point for the Digidestined, the Digimon in general. But this is the first time in a long time, I can't remember exactly when, that we saw the Digimon all conversing and like a meeting point. They showed a lot of intelligence. Well, almost all of them, because Agumon was a bit of an idiot. He was like, oh, memories, what are they? Are they tasty? It was okay at first, but then it became a little bit boring. So of course, comedy is always a nice little thing. However, there's only so much comedy you can do before it gets boring if you repeat the same jokes. So they're all talking what's going on, and then Patamon just says, listen guys, I'm infected, and all of them are like, oh my god, Patamon, please. But who's listening in on the conversation? The suspicious, the supposedly dangerous Maki. She's listening on the conversation of the Digimon, and we see none other than Kari. We see Kari. She has a rainbow tint on her eyeball. She's possessed. Who is possessing her? So there's a little exchange of dialogue between the possessed Kari, the Digimon right there, because it seems that there's a connection between this possessor and the Digimon. Who is this possessed person? Well, if we don't find out in this movie, I will talk about and give you my idea on who I think it is, because it's really interesting. But one thing, I'll just say straight up, the guy who is the Digimon guy on this channel, what he suggested, the genius, he said, what if it's Demigris? Remember Demigris, that little exposition, little dialogue in the beginning of the movie, the first movie? What if it's Demigris? So what was said by that possessed being? The person possessed Kari to give this message that, long story short, all the worlds are connected, and in the connection it comes from this one world, the quantized world, and this quantized sea, which is like a sea of information, I think it regulates all the information on all the worlds, and the quantized world is in great peril, and if that messes up, there's gonna be it's gonna be the end of the digital world, the human world, and all worlds in question. And why is that? Because of the infection. But due to the digital world being made out of data, they said that there's a possibility, and this is really good for people who study IT, that there's a possibility to do a reboot. What is a reboot? A reboot is to pretty much clean out the system in a electronic device to start anew. This gets rid of any viruses, any infections, and it starts completely fresh, back to normal. But it's more so a rewind, and that's the issue that I came across, where if they do a reboot, the digital world is also going to go back in time, and if they go back in time, the Digimon are going to lose their memory. So it's really nice to see that the Digimon are discussing amongst themselves, listen, I don't want to lose my memories. I don't want to lose my memories, because Patamon did say, if it all comes to worse, you need to end me. You need to end me, and everyone's shocked. So this reboot is like a good idea, but as that being said through Kari, it's gonna require a great sacrifice from the Digimon, because the next time Meikoomon appears, there's most probably going to be a reboot. So that's that. And then Kari faints, Maki comes in, takes her to the hospital, and Gatomon, thankfully, with her brain, said, listen, can we trust you? Can we trust you? And Maki didn't give a very definitive answer. So one thing we saw afterwards, Maki still lied to Kari. She didn't really give her the explicit answer. She said, oh, you must have blacked out. You were anemic, and that's the reason why you blacked out. And as stated earlier about Demigris being the creator, the being even said that the god, no, I believe Maki said that the god of the digital world even requires or desires a reboot. So that is something to think about. What's going on here? Who is this infected villain? Who's behind all of this? Well, we have a fair idea, but let things play out more. The main theme for this episode is the Digimon. It's like seeing a person on death row. They know they have a limited amount of time, and this is very evident due to the fact that the possibility, the very likely and inevitable possibility for a reboot means that they're gonna lose their memory. So in essence, they're gonna die. Their life as they know it is gonna be finished. So it's really sweet, and it's really endearing to see all the Digimon trying their best to try and converse with their Digidestined as much as possible. They're trying to spend as much time with them as possible, and it's really sweet. It works. And at the same time, one by one they fall. First Agumon, then Gabumon, then Tentomon. Every single one of them, they're showing signs of infection. What are we going to see? Are we going to see at the end a certain civil war? One side of the Digimon versus the other side of the Digimon? That's going to be amazing, isn't it? Now that we know the Agumon is infected, are we going to see infected Agumon versus infected War Greymon versus Metal Garurumon? Who knows? I really can't wait. It's going to be an amazing little thing right there. Now, it's nice to see they're pushing the agenda. They fleshed out the characters of the Digidestin, but most importantly, they showed Izzy's character as he's very struggling with what should he do. He can't stand being known as ignorant. But then Tentomon gives him a little pep talk saying that it's not really that bad if you don't know something. But then Izzy saying, yes it is. Tentomon tells him, listen, talks about the reboot, but I don't think he tells him about the consequences. However, I do believe Agumon tells Ti about the consequences and the reboot. So now there's going to be a little division inevitably in the next episode. I expect that to happen. This so far makes the stakes feel very high. In general, this movie has been so far the best out of the three. So we see Heckman, and it's like as if he's talking to someone else. He's relaying a message. Is he relaying it to the other Royal Knights? Is he relaying it to the leader of the Royal Knights? And that's Alphaman. Who is the villain? Who is the heroes? I am so confused. I'm sure everyone else is. So comment down below, by the way, what you think of this episode. But Heckman is relaying the message of they can't track down Meikoomon, and Matt makes a little, he says something about losing the memories, and it really does strike a chord with Gabumon. And it's ironic as well because Matt has no clue, but he's talking about memories, losing memories. He's thinking about going back to that time as was stated in the trailer, and I'm assuming that's going back to the digital world. Will we see them go to the digital world at the end of this movie? I really do hope so. But Tentomon and Izzy, Tentomon finds out that he's infected. Izzy's too tired, he's too overworked to notice, but Izzy does say how there's a new numerical code. You know how binary codes are 1010, but there's a completely different numerical code and no one knows what that is. Of course, that's the infection taking its way throughout the real world. So one thing, and I want to wrap up my thoughts because Shady is not here. He's going to be here hopefully in the next episode. Unfortunately, I think he has some digital diarrhea or something. I'm not really too sure. The point is that this episode was very well done in how it exploited the sad nature. It exerted the sadness through every single one of the Digimon, even if they're not directly involved. For example, Agumon, the stupid idiot, was very sad when he's talking to Ti. I like the technique how they interacted the Digimon with the Digidestin with a very awkward dialogue and language in order to get the message across. It was very sad. The music, the atmosphere, the weird ominous creature that possessed Kari, Maki's involvement, everything is just getting better and better and I can't wait for the finale. Hopefully I'll get the finale to you guys soon, and leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts down below. You may now exit Dimsy's domain. Maybe I'm speaking too fast. I'm sorry about that, by the way. Thank you and goodbye.